Alright, welcome back to another Alpha X Pro Replay Cast. We're here for OlimoLeague week number 217. It's going to be the round of 16. And I have ourselves a lovely TVP. Why don't you go ahead and do the honors of introducing our first player here?
Yep, spawning in the top left, heading to the military soon, but trying to get as many games as he can. It's Stats.
And spawning here at the bottom right is the blue Terran player, playing for KaiZ Gaming. It is time.
So we have a lovely TVP on our hands right now. But what do you think of this map, Snoopy Romanticide? Usually big maps actually favor, well, I would say Protosses and Zergs when they face up Terrans, but this map, I feel, maybe in the mid game, it's quite hard for the Protoss to defend their third, just because of the mineral patch like in front of their third, where Terrans can siege up tanks behind it, and then be abusive with medevac marine play. So, how do you feel about this map in TVP?
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty good map for the Terran player. If they kind of go for like maybe the siege tank route, where they can abuse that, like you said, mineral line and all the kind of the, I guess the edges, so that
Yep.
it's harder for the Protoss to get those charged on top of the tanks and stuff. But Stats, I'm sure he has had a lot of experience here playing on here. And we'll see if he has any response to this, or if maybe he, on the other hand, will be the one that's more the aggressor.
Yeah, he's a shield of fire after all. This map, I think, though, I've seen quite a lot of Protosses, including players like Zaun, going for Stargate opener. So let's see what Stat decides to, what's his tech of choice here.
Yep, looks like opening up with the Adept. We should see the tech coming out really soon.
Yep. He's being really safe as well with a shield battery in his main, so I think he wants to use the first Adept to go across the map, maybe try and delay the natural as much as possible. So the shield battery in the main is safety in case the Reaper comes and harass your probes.
Yeah, it's either you kind of keep the Adept at home, or you go across the map and you add in that shield battery in anticipation for the Reaper. Now, unfortunately for him, Time has not went for the Reaper opening. Actually went for the Marine opening here, as he got that reactor on there. Actually going for a really quick dirt base.
Yeah, he's going for double Reaper as well. This is a bit of a strange build, I must say.
Yeah, and I'm really kind of confused, because usually when you go for something so greedy here, you're not going to have a lot of units, and usually when you don't have a lot of units, you want to at least throw down a bunker down in the front for things like this, where he's losing a bunch to these two Adepts.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not trading efficiently, because you haven't got a bunker down to take some hits from strong Protoss units in the early game. Looks like Twilight Council is the tech of choice for Stats. I don't see Stats going for DT plays very often in DBT, to be honest. I think he prefers more standard, standard macro styles.
Yeah, for sure. I think Blink is more suited for him. And I mean, out of the blue, maybe he'll throw down a DT, but not the usual case here.
Yeah. He's also usually the more sit back kind of player. Cause I'm still curious as to why Time opted for this 2 Reaper after some Marine opening.
Yeah, it's certainly a very curious choice here. Usually, once a Terran player kind of opens up with Marine, they don't really go for Reapers after that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a very curious play here, coming down to Time. But Stats dealing it with pretty easily, actually. Hasn't lost too much.
Yep. This is actually a 4-gate blink pay that Stats is going for right now. So I think this is gonna punish Time if punish time quite severely because he went for early 3cc, so you don't have siege tanks, position to be able to fend off all this pesky blink stalker play.
Yeah, actually, you know what? In fact, recently I casted Stats versus Beyond, and Stats pretty much went for 4 Gateway Blink opening the majority of the time. So it seems like this is kind of the build, his go-to build for the time being against Terran players. Now let's see if Time can deal with this. His CC, his Dirt CC is getting a little bit low here. Gotta be careful and send those SCVs to repair them before it gets sniped down.
I wonder if he's doing these builds, only during online tournaments, because you don't really see him going for these kind of aggressive openings, like in big tournament play like GSL or DreamHack.
Yeah, I mean, it could be some build that he's kind of testing out in preparation for. In terms of the global finals, but we shall see if he brings that out during that tournament. In the meantime, though, in this OlimoLeague, he is certainly making it work thus far, keeping time back at home. Still hasn't yet established that dirt base there, and also picking up 6 SCVs in the time being as well.
Yeah, he's gonna have a hard time landing that third with all the stalkers in front of his dirt. And stalkers, and then an adept harassing his mineral line in the main as well.
Oh, what a smart play here coming out. Stats harassing in the back and also kind of bypassing the bunkers with those stalkers, knowing that there's not going to be a lot of units there parked for time, as some of the units will be sent back at home to defend those 4 stalkers War Prism.
Yep, that's 13 workers that Time has lost now. He's going to have a tough time in this TPP for sure.
Alright, getting some additional economy harass done, and so far got his dirt base established, and now you see Stats, he's starting to transition into that Colossus kind of maybe Archon or Templar kind of composition, kind of a very old school type of unit army.
Yep, I don't think the Templar Archives is for Storm in the beginning. They seem to use it to make Archons, to provide some meat shield for the army, and also as a form of anti-air. These days is the meta, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Now this Colossus tech, I'm not like a huge fan of on this map, just because this map is so wide open. It's very, very easy for the Terran to kind of get a kind of a surround, or at least a huge concave, to kind of mitigate some of that Colossus splash damage. And so I don't usually like Colossus too much on this map, but Stats gonna go ahead and try to make this work here. It seems like he is gonna start to
I think he's gearing up for a big push here.
Yeah, very much so. Currently the army
he's even taking a fall behind this. This speaks to the amount of early game damage that he managed to do up till the mid game as well, with his 4-gate Blinkstalker play. He's in a strong position right now.
Yeah, now keep in mind though that the Terran player does have 1/1 upgrade. It seems like Stats is kind of waiting for that charge and +1 to finish before attacking, which is the smart thing to do. You want to, at least decrease.
You definitely want charge before,
yeah, for sure.
Before you attack into a 45 Terran stronghold.
Alright, here we go. Charge lot, clean up the majority of the tanks. SCV is going to be pulled here, and those Colossus still standing strong at the back. It's looking pretty dire for our blue Terran.
Yep, Archon splash damage, dealing a lot of damage. And there we go, time GG's.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and get straight into game number 2 here. Alright, welcome back guys for game number 2 of these 2 lovely players. Why don't you go ahead and introduce the first player here.
In the bottom right, representing Africa Freaks, it's Stats.
And spawning here at the top left corner of the map is the red Terran player playing for Kai Z Gaming. Give it up for Time.
So Stats has opted for the low ground pylon. I actually wonder what's the reason behind this. Just because I think it's always a lot. You make your life a lot easier if you put the first pylon in the high ground and you wall off the cliff so that you make a full wall so that the Reapers can jump up and be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, on this map, I think it's a bit more difficult to wall off completely.
I mean, you can wall off with a pylon, a gateway, and a cybernetics core. So I don't think it's too tough, to be honest. But interestingly, Stats has chosen to start walling off in the low ground.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, one of the advantages of walling off on the low ground is that you can prevent the Hellion run by plays from Terran players. So you just kind of wall up at the front, make sure that is tight and sturdy, and then kind of park your rest of your army at the cliff area to prevent any Reapers from coming in and out. And then also you can kind of park your Stalkers at the main once in preparation for the potential Widowmine drops.
Ah, okay. Well, let's see what happens in this game.
Alright, we saw Stats going for that 4 gateway Blink Stalker opening last game. You think this is going to be the same opening this time around?
Well, I don't think this is a common map to do Stargate play, right? So I'm guessing that we'll be seeing a Toilet Council going down soon again. Whether or not he goes 4 gate, I'm not too sure. We'll see.
Yeah, now actually on this map, I have seen a lot of Protoss kind of do proxy Stargates, kind of at the middle area, right?
Oh yeah, proxy Stargates, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that, but it doesn't seem like there's any proxies coming out of here coming from Stats. So, oh, actually, he's gonna go ahead and make that Stargate back at home, all the way in the back. So,
I mean, always nice to see different builds, in a series that players pull out.
Yeah,
Time
definitely.
as well, opting for possibly 1/1/1 opener this time rather than 3 racks.
Now, I don't think Stats has got an eye of this. I'm looking at the vision of Stats. He only sees the barracks, doesn't even see the reactor on it. So he's kind of in the blind here.
Yeah, I think what they like to do is wait for their first Stargate unit to come out, and then that's when they can get a full scout, I guess. And it's still in the early game, so they're not really. As long as Terran has a natural, they're not really worried about any shenanigans before they can get the scout by the Stargate unit.
All right. Important to note that Stats did pick off the Reaper before the Reaper was able to scout into the main base. So, yeah, Stats in the dark also, but you know what? Stats, rather Time, is in the dark as well.
Yeah, he's going for a Cyclone and Viking play. I think he's worried of another 4-gate Blink attack. It did a lot of damage the last game though, so it's understandable that he's quite worried. Doesn't want to face that again.
Yeah. Well, it's going to work out for him in the end either way. Cyclones and Vikings, pretty good counter against Phoenixes.
Yep. Time kind of posturing in front of his natural, moving back and forth. I can't make up his mind whether or not he wants to do light pressure or or be more defensive at home, it seems.
Yeah, well, I like his activity. When you play against a Phoenix opener like Stats has gone for, usually they will kind of leave their Phoenixes unintended for a second to kind of focus back on macro, or they could just be flying around just back and forth, and then you kind of accidentally can catch some of the Phoenixes while it's on transit, with the Cyclone and Viking, so it's pretty good for him to kind of be active and about
Well,
in the
he
map.
has suddenly decided to attack with a ragtag force of Marine, Vikings, and 2 Cyclones. I'm not sure this will hold up against Stats Adept Phoenix army, but looks like he's doing not too bad. He's clear out, most of the Protoss ground units, leaving only 2 Adepts, but of course Stats warped in another 2 Adepts, so I think this will be cleared up after all. Not a big problem for Stats at the end of the day.
Yeah, kind of an even trade, I would say. Nothing too great for either of these players. The important thing to note is that Stats did save the majority of his Phoenixes, so that's going to be important because you want to kind of build up to that optimal amount of Phoenixes so that it can be really annoying, and also it could help with the kind of the buffering of the Colossus, because if Time does continuously make Vikings, he's going to have to make a decision during the battle, during the engagement. Do I focus on the Colossus with these Vikings, or do I focus on these Phoenixes?
Yeah, it does provide, a nice form of meat shield in that way.
Alright, looks like Time.
I'm going up to 5 racks as he flies over his 3rd CC to start mining.
Oh yeah, and oh man, that's this stem right now. So late.
Yeah, meanwhile Stats has already started his 4th.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna probably get away with it just because there's really not a lot that Time can do right now, especially since Stim is not finished yet. You definitely want to have that before you want to move out.
Yeah, usually when your first attack as a Terran gets shut down and all your units get cleared up, momentum swings back to the Protoss in terms of they can do whatever they want for some time at least.
Yeah, and you can see that because of that fast fourth. He knows that really pretty much there's going to be kind of a down period for the next couple of minutes or so. And so he just go ahead and take that fourth smartly, knowing that there's not going to be imminent danger that's coming his way. Now, a few minutes has gone by now, and Stim is about to finish with a +1/1 as well. Time going to go ahead and look to engage here, but smartly, Stats gonna go ahead and engage before the tank can even siege up.
Yep, of course, with the observer positioning, Stats has full view of what Time is doing. So Stats has gone up to 3 Colossus and is making a Warp Prism now. I think 3 Colossus seems to be like the magic number that Protoss stop at. Too many Colossus and you don't have enough of a meat shield. And it's really not that necessary to go up to a high count.
Yeah,
they do enough DPS, 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because back in the day in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, the magic number used to be 4 Colossus. But of course, Colossus has gone a little bit of a kind of a balance change, so Protosses are now sticking with mainly 3.
Time trying to pull Stats apart now with a 2-prong attack, but the Shield of Ire, not having any of it, he's got enough units in both locations, swatting down attacks, in both his 3rd and his 4th.
Yeah, Stats kind of showing his defensive prowess here, making sure his army is split really well. And now he is going to go ahead and start joining up these 2 army forces for potentially a huge attack.
Yeah, a potential game-ending move here as Stats is clearing up a lot of Time's army.
Yeah, there's actually no Vikings here to even focus fire on those Colossus. So right now, Time's going to go ahead and pull his SCV once again. Oh man, even if Time can somehow clean this up, I think the damage has been done, and Stats going to go ahead and take game number 2 and clinch the series. So Stats will go ahead and advance forward in the tournament. Congrats to him. Hope you guys enjoy these games. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.